friends, it's Larissa. It's been a really long time since I've updated folks. I have been home recuperating from the autologous stem cell transplant. My recovery is absolutely still ongoing. In fact, it takes about 3 months to really recover. And in a lot of ways, I'm recovering on in high speed because my final treatment, the CAR T therapy that has been my goal all this time, is really coming up soon, really starting by next week. And so I'm in a bit of fast forward for something that really is meant to be very, very slow. My first week being home, I really did not have the energy at all to communicate with people. I had just about enough energy to sit up and drink water. And at the time, I couldn't take normal gulps of water, little sips. So imagine having to drink 64 ounces of water that one, you're too nauseated to want to drink, and you can't take big sips. And so it was, literally the action for about 4 days was to take small sips of water. Mind you, I watched seasons 1 through 4 of the show True Blood. Folks may remember from the early 2000s vampire show. That was like my first 5 days. And believe it or not, actually drinking that much, I could absolutely feel a difference in the quality of my joints, a difference in my injuries, a difference in my energy. And now it's about 3 weeks in, and slowly I just found myself walking 5 blocks. It just happened. It was like, I can walk 5 blocks, which I absolutely was not able to do at first. I couldn't even walk 1 block. I couldn't even take the stairs more than 1 trip. I would take 1 trip down and stay in the bottom level of my house all day, and then take the final trip back up to go to sleep. I couldn't traverse the stairs. So slow, and day-to-day healing. And I must say, I think our strange media generation kind of, especially for younger folks, maybe those of us that are my age and much older, I tend to hang out with an older crowd, sometimes a lot older. We're not so used to it, but I feel like younger folks are encouraged to document every aspect of their lives and to just be there, being their authentic selves through everything that happens. And I don't believe that to be healthy, especially as the body's trying to recuperate. I literally had to conserve every ounce of energy that I had toward the task, the physical task at hand. And there was, I didn't feel very compelled also to share that process. It was just enough to be doing that process, not narrating that process. Not documenting that process, just doing it and being in it. And so, yes, I can walk 5 blocks now. I'm no longer walking with a cane. I'm no longer wearing my brace, except for I carry it with me a lot if I'm going long distances or if I have to sit for a prolonged period of time, especially if I have to sit and I'm not extremely mindful of myself. So let's say if I'm on a Zoom call for an hour, I wear the brace. If I'm walking or sitting a long distance, I have the brace. And so this week I just had a PET scan and a bone marrow biopsy, of which I still have a little bit of hospital dread. I went in for the bone marrow biopsy yesterday, which the doctor, my oncologist, who's incredible, Dr. Adriana Rossi, offered that I could do it under sedation. It's usually not something you do under sedation. You go into the office, you lie on your side, and they freaking scrape aspects of your bone out of your pelvis right in the office. And she said that I have been through so much in all of these months, that I've been such a trooper, that I'm doing so incredibly, that she offered me to be able to do it under sedation. I'm so glad I did, because When given the IV in my hand, I hate hand IVs, by the way. I can't. My hands are very delicate, very thin, huge veins in them. And the anesthesiologist just so quickly, it's like went right into the hand. You know, he left. I was like quietly sobbing for 15 minutes. You know, it was, I've lost the tolerance. I've lost all tolerance for like the little pricks and pains that you're supposed to just be strong about at the hospital. It's just, I'm done. I'm done with it. So I had a good cry for 15 minutes and was just like, you know, beside myself. And then I took a couple of deep breaths and I was like, okay, if I continue down this road, you know, who knows what will happen, but it won't serve me. So let me just take a few deep breaths and just see what else is there. And sure enough, after a few deep breaths, the pain in my hand like lessened, because I think as I was crying, the thing I was thinking about most was like a little animal with its paw, like this hurt paw, and it was just like hurt paw, little animal, vulnerable animal, hurt paw, sob, sob, sob. And so instead I just decided, just breathe, just let that go. And sure enough, the pain in the hand was not as great. And I moved on to the next part, which was getting great drugs that allow you to forget what was happening and fall asleep. And I woke up, the bone marrow biopsy was done. I had no awareness of it at all. And I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, that's my rambling update. And by next week, John and I, on Monday, October 28th, will be moving into our hotel in New York City that is paid for by the Janssen Pharmaceutical Company that provides CAR-T. And we'll have a final doctor's appointment on Tuesday that gives me the absolute green light for CAR-T, and then on Friday, the CAR-T process begins. A light dose of chemo to kill my T cells so that when the CAR-T cells come in, my T cells don't fight them. They don't have a big war when the CAR-T cells come in. So this will be my third dose of chemo that I am having in a matter of a few months, but this is supposedly a very light chemo. It's called Chemo Light. I won't lose any more hair. Yeah, and then this is it. This is the finish line. And I really just appreciate everyone's support. I think this time around I'll probably be really looking for strength and patience, because I find myself really exhausted from just the level of relapses that I've had over these months. I've been a trooper. I've been strong, optimistic, well-behaved, all the things, and I'm tired of it. Exhausted. I'm really exhausted. I'm ready for what's next. And I'm also in this mode of like, I think my process is so much following what the body's telling me. I'm not projecting any future self on the body. For me, healing has been really about like settling into exactly and trusting what the body needs in the moment and following that. So I'm in a very much like in a real-time process with the body, a listening, acceptance, radical acceptance, so that it's almost a little bit difficult for me to even understand what after this will feel like, but I'm starting to have little waves of hope, little notions of hope coming in. And I'm used to that. That's I think my baseline is able to really see beyond troubles that are right in front of you, like to be in those troubles, but to really see beyond them enough to move forward. So yeah,